Hey everyone, it's Denny again for another episode of our Battle Nations Battle Analysis series. This episode is going to be on my fight with the Repeatable Dreadnought using planes. So first off, why did I use this strategy? At first I thought it would have been cheaper than to use R1s because the plane repair cost, it doesn't require any tier 3 resource, and overall it is just cheaper than the R1s. They also repair in the regular repair bay rather than the ship repair bay. So if your ship repair bay has a huge backlog like mine does, it does make it a lot easier to keep doing attempts. And then also our units are all the max rank that they can be for now. So I have R6 buoys, R4 baby groupers, and R4 planes. One adjustment that you could do to this formation is to move this baby grouper in the back to this tile. I kept him here because I didn't want him getting shot by the Dreadnought's frontal attack or the submarine's machine gun attack, but it does leave this baby grouper vulnerable to whenever the Dreadnought does its mine attack or its torpedo attack, and then it can actually affect both of these baby groupers. And I've had runs where the Dreadnought launches depth charger mines or whatever and just one-shots both of these guys. So you could move it right here, but you are exposing it to more attacks from the machine guns and the Dreadnought's frontal attack. And also you want to make sure if you do decide to move it to the other side, you want to keep it on this tile rather than this front one, just because that way when the Dreadnought does a checkerboard attack, it's not going to be able to hit this tile and this tile at the same time. So you do minimize damage a little bit that way. Anyways, let's erase that and let's go ahead and play our fight. And let's just speed this up too. So first off, I use my torpedo attacks. This is to keep the Dreadnought suppressed for when it does its checkerboard attack. Because the Dreadnought has such a high crit rate against planes, it's going to one-shot them most of the time. And you can see when it's doing its checkerboard attack right now, we get a miss on this guy, so he only does a little bit of damage. And then we get a regular hit on this guy and a crit on this guy. This guy was lucky that he did survive from a Dreadnought crit. Usually your planes aren't going to survive a Dreadnought crit at this rank. But yeah, we were able to keep all three planes alive, and also this gives us the opportunity to then take out these submarines. And we want to make sure we take out these submarines in one hit, because if we spend too long, right, that gives more rounds for the Dreadnought checkerboard attack to recharge. But we want to make sure we're always hitting the Dreadnought with as many rounds as possible, since we aren't going to survive in the long term against the Dreadnought. So we want to keep the fight short. So then if you don't get these submarines in one hit, they immediately reset. And then also another thing, if you go through all your planes and all their torpedoes, and the Dreadnought doesn't do its checkerboard attack, that's another reset, right? Because the worst thing that can happen is the Dreadnought does its checkerboard attack when it's not suppressed, because then you're almost guaranteed you're going to be losing a ton of planes. But we got lucky in this run, and we actually did get to one-shot both submarines, and then we're just going to keep hitting the Dreadnought. Now something I do here is I actually use my bombs rather than torpedoes. This is to give the opportunity to let these planes recharge their torpedo attacks, since I don't want to use all my torpedoes at once. Right? I want to make sure I always have torpedoes when the checkerboard attack is available, so that way this Dreadnought's constantly suppressed. So I'm actually going to use my bombs on these back planes. And then, since the checkerboard attack is up now, I'll switch over to torpedoes. And there we go. It did take out this plane, unfortunately. He was already pretty low, but I got 2 torpedo hits in with him, so that's pretty good. But you can see he didn't kill either of these 2 planes, which is really nice. Alright, the Dreadnought's down to maybe 70% health. We still have 5 planes up. All of our buoys are alive. We even have a baby grouper alive. But yeah, we're just going to keep torpedoing or bombing this Dreadnought, just depending on how long the recharge times are, and you will lose a lot of buoys and your baby groupers and planes in this fight. Uh, I actually did lose almost everything. All I had was 2 planes in the end. And then also, if you do run out of all your attacks, just use the machine gun attack. Alright, it's better than passing. You at least get some damage, and the machine guns do a decent amount. Right, they have a decent crit rate. Alright, you can see we did over 100 damage right there. Yeah, and then just a few more attacks, and we'll be able to kill this Dreadnought. There we go. A little bit of dot damage also helped with that. So yeah, this was my fight with the Repeatable Dreadnought. I don't recommend people try it, but if you do and you get an ironclad, ping me and send me the screenshot on Discord.